Hi everyone, my name is Mike Nicolosi. Today I'm coming to you with a movement that I'm starting called WHEXITDEM. It's spelled WHEXITDEM. It stands for the White and Hispanic Exit from the Democratic Party. It's a movement that is mimicking Candace Owens' movement, which is called Blexit, B-L-E-X-I-T. And it stands for the Black and Latino exit from the Democratic Party. Today I encourage everyone, if you have never looked at Candace Owens, I encourage everyone to turn Candace Owens on and just look at what she has to say. She is extremely smart. She's beautiful. And if you want to know about racism here in our country, turn Candace Owens on. So today I'm encouraging every white and Hispanic person in America to exit the Democratic Party. Why? Why am I doing this? It's because the Democrats have been responsible for racism in our country for well over 250 years. They have been against the African American. It was only until after the African Americans were able to vote that the Democrats grab them and start using them like pawns for another vote. They exclaim that they're going to be their saviors when they're doing nothing for these people, putting them on food stamps. Barack Obama put over 13 million people on food stamps. A good majority of them were African American people. He really did nothing at all but create another slave here in our country. Okay? Here's what the Democrats have here in America: an open door policy to anyone and everyone to come on in. Don't worry about that. We're $27 trillion in debt. You have nothing to worry about. Most of these people will never speak English the entire existence here in our country. They will be on the dime collecting money from our government. There were 28 Africans that were interviewed on Fox News going back, I don't know, a year or so ago. And they interviewed some of these people who spoke English, and they were asked as to where they are going. The guy exclaimed that he's going to Maine because Maine pays the most money. Somewhere around $63,000 a year this guy's going to get. And for a long time, they're going to be on this money. $63,000 a year to go to Maine. The Maine governor had called up and said, please do not send these people to our state. The Democrats' open door policy is nothing more than creating another slave that will eventually vote illegal here in our country. How are they going to vote illegal in our country? How can anybody just vote? Because you can't even ask an illegal immigrant. You can't even ask them if they're an American citizen before they vote. Why? Because the Democrats made this rule when they controlled the House and the Senate. So you can't even ask somebody, are you an American citizen? Now, once that guy votes or that woman votes and you know they're illegal citizens, you cannot remove that vote. When you go to any one of our major cities in America, they're all run by Democrats. What do? They give them driver's licenses, especially places like New York, California. They give them driver's licenses. And then they get online and they vote illegally. Who do you think they're voting for? They're voting for the open door policymakers. Come on in. They're going to be voting Democrat. They're not going to vote Republicans. Why not? Because the Republicans want to get rid of this stupid law. We should be allowed to ask if you're an American citizen before you vote in our country. Okay? The Democrats have been behind racism for over 250 years. I already told you this. But what I didn't tell you was, as soon as we came into existence, the Democrats held the House and the Senate. They held a vote to bring mass quantities of slaves from Africa to America. What do you think? You think boatload after boatload of boats just pulled up with hundreds and hundreds of Africans? And we didn't have plans for them? No, there was a vote for this. Okay? Not one Republican voted yes to bring mass quantities of slaves to America. Not one Republican. I still haven't got this actual information and the names. I'm still looking for it. This information has been hidden from us. By who? The Democratic Party, of course. They've hidden this information. And then in 1805, they held another vote in Congress to create the KKK. The KKK were created to scare white people from being nice to black people. Basically, they were killing Republicans. They were noosing Republicans, anybody who was friendly to an African American, you were finished. You were done. You were dead. Who are the Democrats? They're the rich. You know, my cousin Jeannie had told me, no, Mike, the Republicans are the rich party. I said, please don't ever tell anybody that. Really, don't, because you really sound foolish. Okay? The Democrats have always been the rich party. Who are they? They're the Hollywood elitists, the rich. See, a cop with a cop, they stay together. You know, a cop works with a cop. The rich stay together. They stay in that group. It's called the Democratic Party. It's where the money is. It's always been that way in our country. The Democrats move the money around in our country. They have always moved the money around in our country. With the exception of a couple few times, has one of our cities ever been run by a Republican. But here's what happens every 2 years, and especially every 4 years here in our country. Every Republican becomes a racist, every one. Okay? Candace Owens was always a Democrat her entire life. It was until she watched a show called The Apprentice with Donald Trump on it. Everybody loved Donald Trump. CNN, CBS, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, they all loved Donald Trump. It was only till after he came down that escalator did they start portraying Donald Trump as a racist. Everything was about racism. Okay? And in concert, our fake news works with the Democrats. They work together in concert. They fool people. They fool good people into believing that the Democrats have always been there for black people. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's nothing more than a lie. They've always been against them. Okay? Giving somebody food stamps and giving them free cell phone minutes and paying their rent, it's not help. It's just creating another slave. That's all it is, another slave to our government. Okay, I don't know if you noticed, but the Democrats want to turn this place into Venezuela. Venezuela, they can't even get clean drinking water there now. They want to turn this country into that. Why? Because they will have slave after slave dependent upon our government. This is what the Democrat Party wants. They just want another slave. Okay? You will never get anywhere being on the dime of the government. Anywhere. You'll just become a slave. This is all you will be to these people, and nothing more. But here's what is a definite thing, 100%, and I'll take a bet, and I'm not a betting man. I will bet any amount of money to anyone that the next Republican running for president after Donald Trump will automatically become a racist. Automatic. It goes without saying. You got people running the state of Virginia, the governor dressing in blackface, and they won't remove him. The lieutenant governor dressing in blackface, and they won't remove him. The Democrats do not care about any racism if it's coming from another Democrat. They only point out fake racism to the, I don't want to say dummies of America, but really the not so intelligent people. This is what happens when you choose to watch just one station, CNN, CBS, ABC, NBC, MSNBC. If you choose to read the fake news newspapers, like the Washington Post, the New York Times, these people are intentionally angering black people. They will never show you the white person killed by the officer here in America. They won't show it to you because it's not going to anger a black person. It might make a black person feel happy that this has happened, but it will definitely not anger the black person. Okay? So just think about what I'm saying to you. Why didn't you see the 20 unarmed white people in the year 2019 that were killed by police? Why didn't you see a single one? And if you did see any, it was brief, it was instant, and you never saw it again. But they put George Floyd over and over and over. Trayvon, they put everybody, any black person, 1,000 times until it's drilled into your head, until it makes you angry. And then it makes stupid people, stupid white people, believe this nonsense, like Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and do stupid things. There's more white people out there causing more trouble, Democrats, white Democrats, than there are black people causing trouble. Stupid white people can't figure this out. So, think about what I'm saying to you. You will never see the white person being killed by a black person or especially by an officer. It's just they won't do it. Okay? This is their way that they anger the black person and obtain another vote. The black voter bloc. Okay? The Democrats depend on the 80% of black votes. If they lose probably a couple percent, they're done. They're history. They're finished. So I'm encouraging every white and Hispanic, every black and Latino person as well, as Candace Owens is, to get out of the Democratic Party. These people are evil. This is all they have been doing in our country, creating evilness. Okay? Donald Trump has no alternative but to answer these horrible things said about him. Horrible things said about him. He has no alternative at all but to answer each and every one. Because if he doesn't, he's guilty. He's automatically guilty if he doesn't respond. Okay, so either way, they intentionally not only anger black people, they anger as many people as they can in our country to cause what's going on to our country, these riots. In case people haven't noticed, maybe CNN, CBS, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, maybe they're not showing you the riots that are happening to our country. It's quite disgusting. Our country's being turned into it's horrible what they're doing. And they're probably not even portraying it to you. Okay? Seattle, Washington has been taken over by these anarchists. These are all Democrats. A reporter on the news had asked every Democratic congressman and congresswoman in Congress if they would denounce Antifa. Not one of them did. Not one Democrat denounced Antifa. Why? Because this is their new black KKK. Okay? They created the KKK, the white KK, back in 1805, 1806. They created them, okay, to hurt black people. And I don't know if you noticed, but after the Civil War ended, there were over 1,100 Republicans noosed. There wasn't only black people being noosed. There was over 1,100. The majority of them all were Republicans. Okay? Oh, but they don't teach you this. Okay? They don't want to teach you the truth about our country. The Democrats, these evil people, have always been behind everything, all racism in our country. So I encourage everybody to exit the Democratic Party. Until next time, Mike Nicolosi signing off.